Hello everybody, this is Tim here again. Here to do another video. I just wanted to go ahead and do this since it's the new year and it's 2018. I wanted to do my top favorite films for 2017. Now these are my top favorite films for 2017, the ones that I personally enjoyed the most. So it's not like which movies in the correct order of what I think was the best films of 2017. These are the ones I personally enjoyed the most and in the order that I personally enjoyed them, which is two different things. These aren't in the order of so much quality, but quality and personal enjoyment, which are two different things. So I'm going to do top 14 favorite films of 2017. Why top 14? Because these are the 14 films I enjoyed the most of 2017. So number 1, Justice League. I know critics hated this one. Fans seem to enjoy it. It has, and mainstream, or at least mainstream audiences seem to enjoy it. It has a decent audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Personally, I had a good time with this film, or a great time actually, in terms of just fun. I loved seeing Superman do a super breath at the end. Is the script the greatest? No, it's just a generic same Avengers type plot. But at the same time, all the heroes were done great. The villain is forgettable. But the heroes were done great, and I look forward to seeing much more of them. It's just a popcorn movie, and I'm perfectly fine with a popcorn movie. Would I have liked a more epic, well put together script? Yes, sure. But for a popcorn movie, which is what it was, I had a great time with it. 3D was terrible, though. The 3D was some of the worst probably the worst I've ever seen. But just for pure enjoyment of seeing the characters and feeling like the characters were done justice, I had a great time with this film. Just pure fun. Just on a pure fun level, I could watch this film all day, just on fun. But Superman's CGI mustache was terrible. Anyway, number 2, Blade Runner 2049. Now, Blade Runner 2049 is my personal favorite film of the whole year. I mean, not my personal favorite film of the whole year, but I think it's the best film of the whole year, quality-wise. But it gets number 2 because I just have more fun with Justice League, even though Blade Runner 2049 is a way better movie in terms of quality. Blade Runner 2049 is a masterpiece in my opinion. I like it even better than the original. I love Ryan Gosling's performance in it. Jared Leto and Harrison Ford are both used at the right amount. And I just love how Ryan Gosling's journey in the film, how he discovers how he basically discovers his soul in the film. Just a beautiful film to look at. Amazing quality, look and visual effects. Just an all-around fantastic film. I wish it would have done better in the box office. It's such a friggin' shame that it didn't. But all in all, it's just a masterpiece of a film, just look-wise and quality-wise, and does not disrespect the original at all. Number 3, a movie I just watched, Disaster Artist, with James Franco. My favorite performance by James Franco. I really enjoyed this film. Awesome movie. I highly recommend it, even if you don't like James Franco. Just if you like The Room, he does such a great performance capturing the spirit of Tommy Wiseau. It's just great to watch. And even his brother, Dean, I believe is his name, Franco, he does a great job too. Him and James rule the whole movie, and it's just it's even more heartwarming than I expected. They don't treat Tommy Wiseau as a joke, which I thought was really refreshing. And the movie really reminded me of Ed Wood. I don't know which one's better, that or Ed Wood, but both are great films. I highly recommend both of them. For James Franco's performance in Disaster Artist alone, it makes it worth watching. The film is just funny as all hell. It's not just got good drama, it's funny as shit. Just a comedy. Number 4 is John Wick 2. This is a great sequel, and I can't wait to see the third one. Keanu Reeves does a great job. I love the pencil maneuvers and action in these John Wick movies. It's just handled so well. Keanu Reeves has still got it. He's still a badass, even after all the Matrix movies and the first John Wick. And Common is great in this film. I haven't seen him in much else except for a 2-second scene in Suicide Squad. He didn't really do anything. Here, though, he's great. I love seeing him as an adversary for Keanu Reeves. Number 5 is It. It, I thought, was an awesome movie. I liked it better than the Tim Curry version, even though I do like that one. The guy who played It in this one was scary, and he was funny at the same time. Just a highly enjoyable film. It does feel a little bit incomplete if you read the book. You know Chapter 2 is coming. But it's just, as it is, it's an awesome film. A little bit too much CGI. And the clown does get just a speck over the top at times, but he always would bring me back in. And I love how the clown in this one really reminds me of Freddy Krueger in a way. Number 6 is a film I watched on Netflix, 1922, starring Thomas Jane. Thought this film had a good creepy atmosphere. I liked the whole southern country type feel to it. And I just loved seeing Thomas Jane in it, and a great acting performance. It took me a while, I'll admit, to warm up into his character because he kind of reminded me of like a country version of Ernest where he's talking at the side of his mouth. But eventually he won me over when I saw where the plot was going. It's pretty much about this guy and his son who kill his wife because she's trying to take his land, basically, and his kid. And he kills her, and then he becomes cursed because of that, and so does his son. And I won't spoil this one because I say watch it on Netflix. It's got a really creepy atmosphere, and there's rats that keep popping up in the movie everywhere the dude goes because he basically fed his wife's body to rats when he threw her down in the well. It's just a really good atmosphere and a really nut-clenching ending. Number 7, War for the Planet of the Apes. It's a shame this film didn't do better at the box office. This was a great film and a great conclusion to the trilogy, and if we don't get another film in this Apes timeline, then this was an awesome way to go out on. This is an awesome movie. And Woody Harrelson was great in this flick. He even makes the apes build a wall, which kind of reminded me of the Donald Trump thing. But yeah, he's just awesome in this flick. And once again, the acting, even Steve Zahn in here as the monkey, the acting for the apes or whatever and everybody are just like the stop motion, or not stop motion, but the motion capture by Andy Serkis and everybody else. Steve Zahn is just fantastic. And they really bring the characters to life. That's what just puts it up there for me. If they don't want to do a sequel, if they want to do kind of a loose sequel, I say skip a couple years in the future. Don't remake the first movie. Do something, I don't know, try to do something different, but don't remake the first movie. You're just going to suffer from too many comparisons. Number 8 would be Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, I thought this film was awesome. It's about time we had a great female superhero film. Gal Gadot really surprised me in the film. Chris Pine was great. The villain was underwhelming, but I love the anti-war message of this film. Number 9 is Logan. I loved Hugh Jackman in this. His best performance is Wolverine. The film does drag a little. There's some parts that could be cut out. But ultimately, this is just a great Western film. It's not even really a comic book film. It's more like a Western. Number 10 is Leatherface, the alternate cut. If you buy Leatherface on Blu-ray, you get an option to watch the film with the original ending that the director intended, which is a much better copy, or a much better ending for the film than the one that was in the theatrical version. I won't spoil it, but with this ending and this making it an alternate cut, it makes the film my second favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film over Part 2. Because even though I like Part 2 a lot, in Part 2, Leatherface is still pretty damn goofy because it's a comedy. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is actually a better film than Leatherface in either cut. But because it's a remake, I have to compare it more to the first. And it's just too glossy and too mainstream for me to rank it much higher, even though it is a more solid script. Number 11 is Get Out, which I thought was an awesome film. I really enjoyed Get Out. It's an awesome movie. Yes, if this was a list of the best films, quality-wise, of 2017, it would rank higher. But just as how much I enjoyed it personally, once you know what's happening in the film, once you've watched it the first time, I just don't feel like the film has the same epic rewatch value. Number 12 would be Cold of Chucky, which seems to be a movie that divides people. But for me personally, I had a pretty good time with it. I don't think it's a great movie, but I do think it's a pretty good movie. I had a lot of fun with it. The plot is messy, but it's fun. It's a B movie. It doesn't pretend to be anything else than a B movie. For me personally, I can have fun with B movies. I don't have a problem with a franchise making a movie or having a sequel in it that is a B movie with a messy plot, as long as it is fun. I had fun with this movie and the kills and even the setting. It does start to drag and get messy in the middle when it has the stupid hallucination with the giant 7-foot Chucky, which I thought was retarded. But it picks up for me at the end when there's the multiple Chuckies. I heard some people complain about this because they think it's too goofy and too corny. And yes, it is a joke that Chucky found a spell on like voodoo-for-dummies.com that gives him the ability to do this now. That is stupid. That is stupid. But right there, that tells you that the filmmaker's not taking the movie seriously and he wants you to laugh and just have fun. And I'm perfectly fine with just laughing and having fun. It is a Chucky movie after all. And yes, I do prefer them to be serious, but I'm perfectly okay with a funny, goofy killer doll movie. Or even a funny, goofy killer Chucky movie. And when all the Chuckies are talking to each other, and they're all voiced by Brad Dourif, I was laughing my ass off. I'm just being honest. I was laughing my ass off. So, number 13 would be Thor Ragnarok, which I thought was pretty good. And it's a comedy as well. I don't even really consider this a comic book movie. It's a straight comedy. And it's a pretty damn funny comedy. I really enjoyed this movie. It's pretty damn funny. But it is a comedy. And if you're like a hardcore Thor fan, I can actually see why you'd hate it. But I'm not. I liked the first Thor movie. I thought it was good, like a good standard comic book movie. The second one I hate. I just thought the plot was so stupid. It was beyond belief. And the fact that it even tried to take itself so seriously with such a stupid plot, or serious at all with a plot that stupid, I couldn't get into it. The third one just embraces the humor. And it would be another thing if it wasn't funny, which some of the jokes don't hit, but for the most part, this is funny as shit, in my opinion. And I was laughing my ass off for most of this movie. In last place, Kong Skull Island, which seems to be a movie that a lot of people don't like, and critics were kind of, lukewarm on it, I should say. For me personally, I enjoyed this more than the new Godzilla. It's maybe not as well written as the new Godzilla, but for a monster movie, it's far better and way more entertaining. Way more entertaining. They're making a monster universe with King Kong fighting Godzilla. I watch one of these movies, I want to actually see the creature and have more enjoyment with the creature. And this gives me that. In the Godzilla movie, he's barely in the friggin' movie. Yes, I get what the director was going for in that movie, but he just gets a little bit too artsy in that movie for my taste, especially for a monster film. He wouldn't just tease you with Godzilla, he would deliberately feel like he was trying to piss you off. Here, they just know what the movie is. So yes, some of the characters are weak and just fodder, but it's fun. I enjoyed the monsters, and ultimately I had a good time with it. Whereas the Godzilla movie, I thought probably was slightly better script-wise, or at least had a more interesting script. Here, this is just a monster movie from start to finish. That's all. It just wants to make you laugh and have a good time. So, I enjoyed this one more than the Godzilla movie. I did. And that's my top 14 movies of 2017. And I'll get back to you guys with my top worst ones. I'll see you guys in the next video.